He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Joined now on the Buyers Barricades guest line, UTSA Athletics Director, Dr. Lisa Campos, joining us now. Dr. Campos, appreciate you taking some time on a Thursday game week. I know you're busy.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. We are busy, but I would not miss this opportunity.
Well, I got to ask, we're live right now at 49 Cigars in Stone Oak. I have my victory cigar for Saturday afternoon after UTSA beats the heck out of Kennesaw State. Do you have a victory tradition, and is it a victory cigar?
It is not a victory cigar, but we can start that tradition for sure. So save one there for me. But you know what? My victory tradition is going back. This is call me crazy, but usually I get back home from the game and I rewatch it that night.
Well, that's good. I mean, a winning game, you can't get enough of that stuff. Lisa, are you amazed? And I know that you had a vision coming in as athletic director and you hired Jeff Traylor. Did you ever imagine, though, that UTSA would be where it is today in such a short period of time?
Yeah, you know what? I get that question a lot. And for sure, I totally believe in Jeff. I knew he's a winner. I knew he was going to turn this program around. But to your point, I didn't know how quickly he could do that. And that's been really amazing, especially when he started in 2020 during COVID. You know, he had a tough start, but he made everything out of that. And then we go into the American Athletic Conference and he's competitive. So everything we have thrown at him, he has adjusted and he's just been so competitive.
Well, and obviously winning a couple of Conference USA championships, the growth of the program, having guys on NFL rosters. I know two of them were in camp and they're going to practice squad, and it's the growth that is there. And I look at this year, picked to finish second in the American, which is Coach Traylor told us the other day, better than where they were last year, picked to finish last or near the bottom. But how different is it with the bullseye on the back, with the high expectations from the fans and everybody else?
Yeah, well, I hope that really creates excitement for the fans, right? That here is a championship caliber team that right in your backyard. Like, why not come support this team? Come out, fill the Alamo Dome. And I know Jeff doesn't like me to talk about this, but it truly is an opportunity, our first year ever, to get in that CFP playoff.
Yep.
And, you know, I just want fans to close their eyes, imagine that, and just come be a part of that.
Boy, how cool would that be? That would just be so cool. It really would. It all starts this Saturday against Kennesaw State, Lisa. And I know you guys are expecting a big crowd, a loud crowd, and I mean, to come kick this thing off. It's going to be a fun afternoon.
Absolutely. You know, our San Antonio community, they know how to tailgate, they know football, they know how to have a great time. And, you know, we've added a lot of elements to our game day experience. We got Jerry DeLeon and the Southbound Country Band out there performing. We got a rock wall, gaming truck. We got just battle axes. We got a lot of kids stuff going out on HEB Plaza. The Alumni Association, you know, they have their tailgate at SB. So there is something for everyone to do. And we really, really hope San Antonio comes out and supports their hometown team.
Well, and you think about, I know, you know, a lot of us don't even know where Kennesaw State actually is. And by the way, their nickname is the Owls. Coach Traylor was telling us earlier this week that if you looked at last year's record, don't buy that, because of the way their coach was doing stuff, is redshirting their entire team and figuring out how to do all of that. But the idea that we're kicking off the season, the atmosphere is fun. Talk about some of the new things that are going to be happening for the overall game day experience once we all get inside the air-conditioned Alamo Dome.
Yeah, well, remember, first of all, orange out. So everyone needs to be wearing orange. Let's fill the Alamo Dome with orange. Let you know, the fans be heard to Kennesaw State. They've never played in the Alamo Dome. And like I said, we just have incredible fans. Like I talked about, the Rowdy Town Live, we got that HEB Plaza going for the kids. We got the tailgating. And then, as you know, we've really dedicated this season to all our hometown heroes. And we're starting with a salute to educators on Saturday. So just appreciation to the teachers. We all have a favorite teacher from our childhood and the impact that they had on us. So we really want to honor and appreciate our hometown educators.
Lisa, educate me if you would, please. What goes into finding non-conference opponents like a Kennesaw State. You got Texas State again, and Texas, the UTSA is going to be playing again. What kind of work goes in to setting that schedule?
Yeah, it really happens years in advance, but then there's always changes. So Kennesaw State, if y'all remember, was kind of a late ad because I believe it was New Mexico State. When they went into Conference USA, they had to drop games, and we were one of those games that they dropped. So we had to scramble. Gosh, I feel like it was just last year or a year and a half ago. We had to scramble and find a new opponent, and thank goodness Kennesaw State was available. So those things just happen once in a while. But our typical scheduling philosophy, if people look at our schedules in the past, and a lot of conversations with Coach Traylor about this, is that we typically try to play a FCS opponent. We pay them to come in. We're hoping that's a guaranteed W. It always isn't. If you saw this weekend, I think Montana State, they beat New Mexico. But that, we try to play a FCS opponent. Then we try to go, with a rivalry like Texas State, and then a like school like us. Next year it's going to be Colorado State, a home and home with them. And then we always have that money game, that guarantee game with the Power 4 opponent, which obviously is Texas this year.
It's going to be wild. It all kicks off Saturday. And again, so many different ways. It's to get your tickets. It's an Orange Out. I saw you even have tickets for sale now at Costco. So, I mean, there's no reason for people not to be able to get their tickets. I know this weekend's going to be nuts downtown. Do the park and ride, which is my preferred way now.
Me too.
It's just so much easier. But I appreciate you just using the term Power 4 because the Pac-12 is what it is. There was an article the other day, I believe it was on ESPN, where they were putting schools in tiers, and where they had UTSA, they said, well, they could be a part of the new revamped Pac-12. There's always talk about UTSA moving to the Big 12. And out of curiosity, how much conference movement is still going to take place over the next couple of years? From your seat, what do you see happening in the next couple of years?
Yeah, let me pull out my crystal ball and tell you what's going to happen. Your guess is as good as mine, but in all honesty, we know conference realignment, and this happened a few years ago, right? We knew it was a matter of when, not if. We knew that conference realignment is going to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. And that's the question of the hour: is what's intercollegiate athletics going to look like in a couple of years? You see what the SEC is doing, you see what the Big Ten is doing, and how they're positioning themselves to continue separating. And there's not a lot of separation right now between the American Athletic Conference and the Big 12. Financially, there's people did some statistics on that. So, we know what's for certain is change, right? There's going to continue to be change. And all I can say is for UTSA is that we are going to continue to position ourselves to be in that best position, just like we were when we went into the American. But it's going to take everyone in San Antonio to support it, for us to continue to put a great product on the field for football. And that's what really important is for San Antonio to get behind this team.
Lisa, how difficult is it for you? I know it's difficult with Jeff. We talked to him about NIL and the transfer portal and all of that kind of stuff. From your seat, being the athletic director, overseeing this for all the sports, not just for football, how difficult has that been to navigate, and how difficult is it now still to do that?
Yeah, it's getting easier, and if people forget that we were the very first team in Conference USA who came out strong about our NIL with what we could do. Since, 3 years ago, the state law has changed, NCAA rules have changed, but 3 years ago, we were really handcuffed. We could do some education. We could help, promote brand identity for our student athletes, but we really couldn't help facilitate any of those deals. Moving forward, again, state laws change, NCAA's change. You see, you can do loyalty points now. There's different things that you can do now. So it's really becoming, I don't know if easier is the right word, but it's less restricted on how coaches, athletic administrators makes that so much better for us to help our student athletes.
UTSA Athletic Director Lisa Campos joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And I guess also it's not new anymore, so you have an idea of what you can and can't do. It's not as seemingly the wild, wild west as it was a couple of years ago. But how do you balance as the athletic director, where the fundraising that has always gone on to support athletics still has to happen, but now you also have to get that NIL fund up, and a lot of those same people are the ones with the checks that you're seeking.
For sure. First of all, a huge thank you to San Antonio because they've gone above and beyond, right? I think there was a concern around the nation that what will that do for our current student or for our current donors, and San Antonio has gone above and beyond. But nothing's changed really in terms of our fundraising has always been donor intent, and if a donor wanted to give to football, if they wanted to give to basketball, that was their prerogative. If they wanted to give to a capital project, if they wanted to give to scholarships, there has always been a menu of things to give to, and NIL is just another part of that menu. And we know how important NIL is. It's not going away. It's going to continue to get stronger. We have to embrace that. And it's just another, again, we can't, as an institution, pay that directly. Those are still having to go through the collectives. But it's another option that all of our donors have now.
Lisa, it's funny that you say that it's not going away. The NCAA came out, just a day or two ago, talking about just one transfer portal instead of two. NIL, I know there's been a lot of call to try and regulate this, maybe even have the schools make the players employees. I think I'm asking you to go back to your crystal ball again, but do you think that there is a regulation coming with this to try and get a handle on it where it's maybe a more even playing field among all the schools?
Yeah, and even going back to NIL, it's still not a even playing field because we still have patchwork of states. We're under the Texas state law, where I believe Utah has no state law, so they can do whatever they want. So even NIL is not consistent. But to your point, the NCAA, the cabinet or the council, is looking at the transfer portal windows. They're looking at the number of days, and everyone has mixed opinions about it, right? But I think to your point, they're trying to put some guardrails around it. It's a time of constant change. The house settlement is something we have to think about, and how does that affect transfer portal windows? So we're going to, as an industry, we're going to have to keep, looking into these things and figuring out what's the right thing for the institutions and for the student athletes.
UTSA Athletic Director Lisa Campos here on the Blitz. I think about something I said a couple years ago when this was all first starting. There are a lot of smart people that are running universities and athletic programs. And I'm honestly a little surprised that we don't have some sort of guardrails. I've been hearing guardrails for years that something hasn't been put in place, because I think to a degree every conference is trying to do what's best for their conference. But does there need to be, and the NCAA has no teeth, but does there need to be a rule that covers every university and every conference, and how do you make that happen?
Yeah, and part of that has been that, I think we've been very reactive to a lot of lawsuits, and there continues to be the house settlement as a product of that. And that really is what made states look into doing something individual, which, really hurt all of us from a competitive advantage. So, we're looking at Congress, can they come in with the NIL and make something more universal? But to your point, I think the NCAA is, in the past has been, a little bit slow in making decisions because of the lawsuits, and now with different leadership, that might be looked at differently.
Boy, it's going to be interesting. And I don't envy you, Lisa, having to deal with all of this kind of stuff, because, Jason and I talk about football, but you got to talk about all of it and try to make it all make sense. So let's get back to the good stuff. Kennesaw State on Saturday. How does your day begin on Saturday morning?
Well, I will be up bright and early. I'll get my workout in and then just get ready to get out to the Alamo Dome before, between 9 and 10 in the morning, closer to 9 probably. And then we'll be out in the tailgates. I love interacting with all of our fans and all of our tailgaters out there. And, we got the Spirit Walk. That's always fun to walk hand in hand with Coach Traylor and lead that team into the Alamo Dome. And then it's, just all the engagement of our loyal fans and just a lot of appreciation for them. And then, as I said, I think one of the reasons I go back and watch all the games, I'm pretty busy. I got to get my watch on and see how many steps. That sometimes I'm not sure if we're winning or losing because I haven't seen some of the game. I've been too busy interacting with all of our fans and our donors. But it fires me up. It pumps me up. Actually, I'll start Friday night and go hang out with the team a little bit and just to get the vibes that they have. And but it's here and we're ready to go.
Football season is finally here and Orange out in the Alamo Dome. Get your tickets. Call the UTSA Athletics ticket office. Go online. Go UTSA.com. Go to Costco. You can buy your tickets there. I saw that. I was like, man,
nice.
This is big time. You get 2 tickets right there at Costco. And I love the hometown heroes that you're honoring for every one of the home games this year. I know it's going to be a blast for you this weekend. Dr. Campos, appreciate you jumping on with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you all there Saturday.
Appreciate it. Dr. Lisa Campos, the athletic director for UTSA on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com.